Hello, in this video I will show you how to use generic methods in C#. Now, it's not terribly difficult to do, but there are some tricky parts and it's not exactly straightforward. So it will be quite interesting and you should know how to use them. You should at least have a bit of understanding on how to use them, although personally I don't really use them. And I do believe they only really look great for the end user of, say, a library. Now, one good example of that would be the accessing of APIs in that sort of modern way. You might see that in Blazor. If you look at my Blazor course, you'll find examples there that uses those methods where you specify the return type of that JSON string, basically, that comes from an API. And it gives you that specific type. So there are many obviously use cases for it, but again, for the most part it will only look good and it will only look clean and readable for that end user of that library, right? Other than that, it is a bit bulky. It does contain a bit of code, and let's take a look at how it all works. So right here we have a simple static method, okay? Just a simple static method right here, nothing too fancy, but what it has is it has a T return type. Now T stands for a type, okay? That's the whole point of it. And we return T. Now it also takes T right here, okay? It takes T right here, not in the parameters, but in these chevrons, right? In between these little chevrons, we have a T. So T right here and T right here after the method name. Okay, so you specify it as a return type and you specify here as well. It's important to specify here because it's easy to make that mistake if, say, you write a task instead of a normal method. You might just specify it in a task or something like that, and it will become a bit troublesome. Now in the task you specify a return, of course, in a similar way that you do with a name right here, but you also need to specify it in the name. So that aside, we have T, and then we have variable, okay? Variable of T type, basically, right? We don't know the type. The type will be provided when the method is executed. Say right here we have test method string, okay? We specify that this should return a string. Now, whatever the case you have, you will probably have a need or a requirement to actually find out what the type was specified, okay? What kind of a type was specified in the execution, right? In the execution statement. So to do that, that is basically the tricky part here, okay? That is basically the tricky part. To do it, you need to use type of, okay? Type of T equals, that's a if statement, right? A simple if statement. To type of, okay? So to type of integer or type of double, whatever type you want, but it has to be type of. You do not compare this to simply say int like this, right? That does not work. You need to wrap it in type of to get the type, okay? And then you compare both types, and if they match, you do something. Now we have a couple of those if statements. The idea is the same in both of them, but basically in this one we check for the type to be integer, and so we declare an integer return value, okay? And then we need to sort of convert it and cast that so it can actually be returned. This is crucial, okay? This is crucial in order for it to work. So we use convert change type, okay? We provide the variable which we want to actually convert and return, right? We provide that, and then type of T. It's not type of something, some specific type, it is type of T. That's what you do. But that's not all. You do this and then you have to cast it like that. Do a little cast and that's it, okay? now you have t test variable. Okay, you see it's assigned right here like that, and you can return that. That's it. You return basically what you specified in the top right here. So again, a few tricky bits here. We have t as a return type, t right here. Okay, and then we have this t declared as a sort of a variable, right? And then we have convert, change type, type of, and then a little cost. That's what we have. And notice, this should only be used when you actually return it, okay? This is for the sort of last part of your method. This is the last arrangement, the last task that you have, and that is to convert to the return variable. And that's it. Once you have that, you can return it, okay? And the same goes for the string, okay? The same thing goes for the string. We have type of and type of, compare that. Just a different type, string, right, in this case. And then in this case, we provide a string and then it will return a string value. Now, you may notice we also have this default. So if any of these types, types that we are looking for are not provided, we go down to default. And default will basically establish the value of the type that was declared, which is a default value. So in case of a double, it will be 0. Okay, we have a little breakpoint here. We can launch the application. We will see what happens, right? In the first result, we execute as integer, right? We need an integer return, and with that we get 5. That's what we wanted. We get 5. Now the string will be test. And the default, because we declare double, we don't deal with double, and so the default is 0. Okay, that is 0 now. So that's all that there is to these sort of basics of these generic methods. Now, there are some more advanced use cases. You can have constraints and things like that, but we won't get into that right now. This is how you can deal with these generic methods if you need a sort of dynamic return type, if you have perhaps a few different arrangements. Now, do take a look at my C# course to learn more about C#. Also, take a look at my Blazor course. You will learn some front-end development using C#. That's a very useful thing to know these days. And do check out my API development course as well. That's a very useful combination. Blazor plus API, the price is great these days. Do take a look. It's on discount. Both of them are on discount, and you'll have a great combination of skills in your bag. Now with that, subscribe to this channel, and we will conclude this video.